name is Vanessa. And there's Bryant. And Elena's back there too. Currently we are on our way to my very first prenatal appointment. I was actually supposed to have this appointment last week. So today's Thursday, so I was supposed to have it last Thursday. But as soon as we were getting into the car, they called me from the office and said that Stacy, she's the midwife I see. I actually see a midwife. She's not an OBGYN. She was in a delivery and she wasn't going to be making it back. So we had to reschedule and we were able to get in today, luckily, because it is the day before we are going out of the country on our vacation. So I really needed to get in to see her before then. So that's where we are headed now. I've kind of explained it a little bit to Elena. I don't know if she really understands a whole lot. She like knows there's a baby, but I think she's still kind of confused. And she looks at me like, "You're crazy, Mom. There's not a baby here." But we've told her we're gonna go see the baby, and she says she's really excited to go see the baby. So we are all super, super excited to have our first ultrasound, hear the baby's heartbeat, make sure everything is doing good.
You want to see the baby? Yeah? You want to see the baby?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to go to sleep.
Night night.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. Take a little nap. Alright, girl.
And look at the TV.
There's a little baby in there.
So see, like here, the whole thing here is uterus. This is the gestational sac. That's the yolk sac. And that's the baby right there.
That's real, babe. It doesn't feel real since we found out she was pregnant.
Baby doesn't have a heartbeat in there. Right in here.
So it's been about 4 weeks since that appointment, and it feels like so much has happened since then, and so many things have gone on with this, and not only the miscarriage, but then everything popping up with this virus going on, and the earthquake we had last week here in Utah. It's just nuts how everything's just piled on. But I had what is called a miscarriage, which is pretty much my body not recognizing that my baby no longer had a heartbeat. So I didn't miscarry like a lot of women do. Brian and I were trying to conceive. We started trying in December, and we found out that we were pregnant like very end of January. It's so crazy because I was supposed to have my first prenatal appointment the week before we actually went, like you heard me say, and it was rescheduled. The thing about it is I don't know, I think it was probably just a blessing in disguise. Not that this all happened, but that we weren't able to go that day, that it did have to be rescheduled, because when we went in and they measured the baby was only measuring 7 weeks, 2 days, which from the first day of my last period, 7 weeks and 2 days would have been that Thursday that we were supposed to have gone and had our first prenatal visit. If we had gone that day, I don't know, maybe the baby's heart would have still been beating. Maybe the baby's heart didn't stop beating until later that day, until the next day. I don't know. I'll never know. But it could have been where I went, had a normal visit, we would have heard the heartbeat, and then I would have gone to my 12-week appointment, and the baby would have still been measuring 7 weeks and 2 days. And I don't know if that would have been harder. I don't know. I carried the baby just shy of 11 weeks. Because when we found out, I was given 3 choices. I could either wait and see if my body would catch up and just miscarry on its own. I could have a D&C, or I could take the medication to have my body bring on that miscarriage. The next day after my appointment, we were supposed to go on vacation. And I let my midwife know. She said we would have been okay to go on vacation, that it wouldn't have been a problem. But then later that night, my friend who was supposed to watch our dog Ellie while we were gone, she was no longer able to. So it seemed like one thing after another, so we canceled that trip. We still went on a trip. We went to California, went to Disney. But I was prepared to go through a miscarriage. I was hoping it would just happen on its own, but it didn't. I have never in my life been on my way to Disneyland and been in tears because I've been so heartbroken. Never in my life have I seen a pregnant woman and broke down in tears wishing that I was pregnant. It was a really hard week for me, and it broke me in a way that I didn't know was possible. When I first got pregnant, I had a feeling like I knew I couldn't be fortunate enough to not have to go through something like this, and there have been so many people around me that have been through something like this that I knew it was coming, but I never knew how hard this would be. I never knew all the emotions I would feel. I have felt guilty, and I know I have been told so many times that it's not my fault, but I felt guilty regardless, because I feel like it was because my body didn't do what it was supposed to do, or I don't know. I don't even know. I felt sad. I felt angry. I've been told so many times that everything happens for a reason, and I am a very strong believer in that, but none of those words make me feel any better. When we came back from our trip, we had an appointment. We came back Friday, and I had my next appointment Tuesday, because we did push it out since I was going to be leaving. We pushed it out almost an extra week, so I should have gone back to her a week after that first visit, but I didn't. It was pushed because we were leaving, and when I came back, they checked me. Well, she checked me again, and again she told me, yes, still no heartbeat, and the image had changed a little bit. The baby was measuring 7 weeks one day at that point, and like it looked lumpy, and she said that that was just everything dying off. And so at that point she told me that I needed to figure out what I wanted to do, if I wanted to take the medication or if I wanted to have a DNC. I chose to go with the DNC because I didn't think that I could go through taking that medication and having to miscarry the baby at home and having to see all that and going through all the pain emotionally and physically. She said my cramps would be pretty intense, and I didn't want to have to go through that. I didn't want to have to see that, so I decided to have a DNC. So then, because she is a midwife, I had to be referred to an OBGYN because it is a minor surgery and she can't do that. So my appointment to see that doctor was the following Thursday. I went to that. He asked me if I was sure. He said he didn't have to do any ultrasounds or anything, or we didn't have to go and like do anything at all if I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to have the DNC, that I could just call Stacy back, my midwife, and just ask her to prescribe me the medication. But I decided no, that I wanted to go ahead and do the DNC. So for a third time, I was checked. And it doesn't make it any easier to hear it over and over again that the baby you're carrying is no longer alive. But of course he had to check because he was going to be doing the procedure, and he needed to be certain that, you know, this baby's heartbeat was really no longer beating. So he checked. We did another ultrasound, and for the third time I had to hear again that my baby was no longer alive. His words were, "I am 100% certain that this will not be a successful pregnancy." Which I knew, but like I said, it doesn't make it any easier, and I think it just makes it harder. And then we had to schedule the DNC, and the DNC I was scheduled for that following Monday. So I had to go through the entire weekend again, just waiting. And this entire time that I was pregnant, I was feeling symptoms. The day before we went to my very first visit, I was throwing up in the shower because I was so sick. I couldn't eat that day because I didn't know what to eat. I was so hungry, but I didn't know what to eat that would stay down. Nothing sounded good. The next day I walked into my visit with crackers because I was feeling so sick. Throughout the entire time, every 2 hours, I was just starving. I've gained so much weight because I've been eating whatever I possibly can to just not feel that constant hunger, and still felt nauseous. And when you're pregnant, it's not like you love having those symptoms. They're not enjoyable by any means, but you make yourself feel better thinking, well, if I'm going through all this, at least the baby's thriving, at least the baby's okay. And that was not the case. The baby was not okay. I was feeling all this for nothing. But they told me that as soon as I had this procedure done, that I would no longer feel any symptoms, that I would physically be okay. And it's true, they were right. As soon as that happened, I didn't have any more symptoms. I was no longer tired. I was no longer nauseous. I was no longer starving and needing to eat 100 times a day. Physically, I'm okay. But emotionally, I think it will take much longer to heal. Bryant and I will try again, but not anytime soon. I feel like right now, if we did try in the middle of everything that is going on right now, it would just be so selfish to try and bring a baby in to so much uncertainty. We don't know when all of this will go back to normal. I feel like I haven't had any sense of normalcy since it's been like a month now. And then with all of this going on, I wouldn't dare try for another baby. My midwife told me that we could try as soon as we wanted to, that you don't really have to wait the 2 cycles to try again, that research has shown that it doesn't really make a difference. So she said, if you want to try, go ahead and try after your next cycle. And that's not something that we will be doing. We were so excited to have another addition to our family. We were so excited to see Alina become a big sister. I had actually done an early gender reveal test, and we were going to do the gender reveal while we were on our trip, and of course that never happened. So there were so many things that we were so excited for that didn't get to happen, and I know it'll get better. I know I will eventually feel better. And you might be wondering why I'm even filming this video. The last time I filmed, I was 7 weeks pregnant. The last time I filmed and posted a video, and then I disappeared because all of this has been going on. But if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that yesterday I posted a picture of our ultrasound, and it was just sort of therapeutic just to not have to hold it in anymore. We had let my family know that we were expecting, and we had told some friends that we were expecting. But it was just nice to get the support of so many more people. And I know that there have been so many women who've gone through this, and there have been so many around me who have gone through this, and I know I'm not alone, and knowing I'm not alone helps. And if you're going through something like this, or you've been through something like this, I know when you're going through it and you're in the middle of it and it like seems like your darkest hour, you just feel so alone, but you're not. We are one in many who have to go through this, and I'm just so grateful that my very first pregnancy, I had a healthy baby. Not that I didn't have to jump through any hoops through my pregnancy, but I had a healthy baby, and that's all that mattered. And I've seen a side of Elena throughout all this where she's never seen me cry before, and she was just so concerned for me. She kept saying she was sorry, and she kept saying, sorry, don't cry, mommy, don't cry. And she's just been the sweetest, and she puts a smile on my face and lights up my day. And I can't imagine of having to go through a miscarriage with your first baby, because then you don't have another one to turn to. And I'm just grateful that I do have that, and I'm grateful to have Bryant, and I appreciate how supportive he's been, and I appreciate all the family and friends that have reached out to me and have checked up on me to see how I'm doing. It's been really hard. It's broken me in ways that I never thought. But I know I will come out of this, and I'm praying for my rainbow. But it will all be in God's time. And I know it's His plan, not mine. But if you've made it all the way through this video, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. It just feels nice just to talk and let all of these things out, and everything that I've been thinking about. And hopefully I can get back into things and get back into some sort of normal or new normal with everything that's going on, and do something that keeps my mind off of all the hurt that I feel right now, the pain that I'm going through. But I appreciate you for watching, and like always, I appreciate all the kind comments and all the support that you've shown me. And I will see you next time. Bye.